Welcome to Stage Left with Lou. I am your host, Lewis Schulvok, but everyone calls me Lou. And today I am joined by Richard Astbury. I can't even intro you because I feel like you don't need an introduction. Richard is on Beauty and the Beast with me as swing and fight captain and guest on cover.
Yes.
And I think you're like probably the most interesting member of our company because you're from the UK.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual, but it was a great experience and I was welcomed so lovingly. So that was
Yeah.
great.
We'll get to the story of how you got here.
Mhm.
Can we just go straight into it? Can you tell me where it kind of started and like where the passion began?
It was primary school, every year from year 4, 5 and 6, you're like 7 years old, and they put on Joseph, and I was just one of the brothers, and apparently I was far too excitable and loved it. Next year we did Ebenezer Scrooge, and it was like great, 11-year-old playing Ebenezer.
Of course.
And my head teacher actually started putting me up for auditions for musicals.
As a kid.
Yeah.
Love that.
Wasn't successful, but was really excited. And then my mom, who was a stay-at-home mom, decided to go back to work so she could pay to put me through like stagecoaches and amateur companies. So I got to do, I think, 7 productions a year for about 7 years. I was
That's
in
amazing.
multiple.
So you were exposed to the world of musical theatre
Yeah.
for quite a long part of your childhood.
In 3 different counties, with 40 people in each company. So I was always working on stage, not professionally yet, but I was part of it. It was in my blood at this point.
Yeah.
So when it got to drama school, at the age of 18,
And you went to Arts Ed
yes, Arts Ed London.
and did your bachelor, right?
Yes.
So essentially the same as like here in Australia doing like VCA or WAPA or the Con or like those big kind of 3-year.
Yes.
It's like the equivalent of that in the UK.
Yeah, well, we were in classes from 8 till 6, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Most of them contact hours, ballet, tap, jazz, contemporary, singing lessons, singing technique, as well as repertoire, ensemble lessons. So, getting all prepared for all those wonderful harmonies we need to keep learning. Swing life.
Swing life. But yeah, so you did your training there, and then can you kind of explain, like, from there, did you have an agent out of drama school? Like, what was the process of kind of going from that? Because I think it is a little bit different in the UK to how it might be here in Australia.
Well, we have a final third-year showcase. So all agents are invited mainly from the school, or you can look for agents yourself who you want to invite to this production. And it's kind of a scary audition kind of process. You get on and you've got your 15 minutes of showing what you can do. And you can just kind of see people putting their heads down, writing things down, like checking where you are. And I was very fortunate. I had quite a few agent interests and had to do multiple interviews with loads of big agents, which was daunting but wonderful. Found mine, BWH, which is who I've been with since I was 21.
It's really scary as well because, like, I feel like now or after you've done a few things, you can kind of back yourself a little bit more, but you still, even though you had like all this interest, I'm sure you still felt like a bit of a small fish in like a very big pond there. So
I was
like,
always a small fish and I actually enjoyed it because there was always something to achieve and get better at. So just before drama school, I was at A-levels at the age of like 16, 17. And there was always somebody who was a better dancer than me. So I would look up to him and get advice, and he would want to learn more about singing from me and things like that. So trying to better myself because I was never the big fish gave me drive.
Yeah.
And it gave me determination to constantly get better. So I suppose that's kind of helped me on a 12-year career.
Well, and speaking of your 12-year career, some of Richard's theatre credits include Irving Berlin's White Christmas. That was your debut, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
How was that debuting? Let's start there, and then I'll go into the long list of credits after this.
21-year-old, straight out of drama school with so many established performers. And I
That's
kind of,
right, because we've spoken about this a little bit before, like at work or whatever. And like, I remember the conversation we were having was that both of us kind of debuted in shows where we had a lot of people that were not even like older than us, but just like had so much knowledge to give. And like, we have spoken about how imperative it was to like take as much from them as we could. So moving on, we just were instilled with stuff that we wouldn't necessarily get if we weren't in casts
oh,
with them.
completely. I was taken under so many people's wings. I'm not, told what to do, but just like telling people how their experiences are or what's kind of normal in the industry and the do's and the don'ts and the etiquettes that you don't always learn at drama schools. It's you learn so much more on the job,
Hmm.
and it's kind of a lovely fast track to have those people look after you and show you the ways. So then when you get down the line, you can pass on a bit of experience and knowledge about it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like a really important part of um, being like a member of a company is that kind of like you said before, you always have something to gain from someone else in the company, but you also have so much to offer other people, not just the show itself, but
Mm,
like as an older, more experienced cast member, you have something to offer the young people, but then also as a fresh person, you've got stuff to offer the people that have been there for a while or been doing the same thing. Like you have a fresh perspective. So I think that's always something really important that I try and remember
and you can always keep learning.
always. So going back to credits, we have White Christmas, the UK and European tour of Cats, Spamalot, the Monty Python musical, Sleeping Beauty, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Matilda the Musical on the West End and the UK and Ireland tour cast, as well as appearing in the Matilda movie on Netflix. I'm going to stop there because I want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So Matilda's been a big part of your,
Yes.
not even career, I'm going to say life.
Yes, it really has. I think it's still just about longer than my Beauty and the Beast career. They're almost tying now. Uh, Fantastic first West End job. Doing that, I was on it for 2 years, and they don't. In the UK, you're normally on a year contract. It's not uncommon that you will only do 12 months and they'll renew.
Hmm.
Was very lucky to be asked again.
That's really interesting. Sorry to stop you.
Mm,
Like the 12-month, because I feel like you think of West End and there's some shows that have been on the West End for such a long time.
yeah.
And here in Australia, we have so many like run of play contracts where people are doing a job for 3 years sometimes, or, are doing 7 months and then going on a 2-month break and then doing another 7 months. And in the UK, it's actually more common that there's a constant turnover.
Yeah.
Is
You
it
know
is
your
it
end
like the
date.
same? Is everyone on the same schedule? Like is it always like February is like cast turnover, or do you have like half of the ensemble come in February and then half of the ensemble come in September? Like,
In my experience, it was everybody who is on a cast change will start. For example, Matilda was rehearsals June, July, maybe,
mhm,
and by September, the whole cast has changed.
yeah,
Or if you're
the
staying
next
on,
contract has
the next,
begun. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So it's a 12-month contract. You either do your 12 months and off you go, or it's you're asked if you would like to stay longer, but it's always going to be that 12 months. So you kind of know where your career is going to be at, your end dates. Let's start looking for new jobs. For
Yeah.
example, it's not, oh, actually, end of play is now. I should start thinking about it. Um, but yeah, second year was up. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and visit my family for a while, going to chill. And the penultimate week of Matilda West End, I got a phone call and said, oh, the guy on your track on the tour has got a big injury. Do you mind stepping in for a little while? On the time I was on hold for other shows, and said, oh, okay, well, we'll see how long I'm needed. But if I get another job, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Uh, didn't get the other job and ended up staying for 13 months on the tour.
So you did 2 years of West End
Yeah,
and then pretty much did
another year on the tour.
on the tour.
Yeah.
And then how did the movie come about? Because I assume that opportunity, I hope, came about because you were involved with the musical quite
Yes.
heavily.
I nearly missed out on this
Hmm.
because so COVID had happened, and we were on the way out of it. And I kept getting these messages from my old resident choreographer saying, "Would you like to do a workshop of Matilda?" I really wasn't in the mood to be teaching. I was like, I've not danced for so long. Teaching's not my forte. I'm I'm all right. A few months later, "Are you sure you don't want to do the workshop?" And I gave in and said, "Oh, fine. What do you want me to teach?" And she said, "Oh, no, it's not to teach a workshop. It's to be a part of it for the movie."
Hmm.
So immediately, yes, 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 let's go. I'm headed off to London and started doing the workshops and figuring out the choreography for such a large scale movie
Yeah,
in full on aprons, visors, goggles, masks, the
all of
lot.
it.
And that went on for probably about 7 months until we were able to film. And I was in the opening in Miracle.
Yeah, which ended up being like that's like a pretty big
Oh, it's a
production number moment of the movie.
yeah, it really sets the scene for how chaotic it can be with all these children to work with. But it was
Yeah.
so much fun.
So in that workshop period, were you working on the choreography for essentially like the whole movie?
No, personally, we had I think 60 people in a room
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie before, but it's like a giant cake stand at
Yeah.
the end, and we're having to work out one how to work so closely during COVID, as well as figure out how to incorporate children when we are allowed to use them. And it was
Because there would have
a
been so
big
many
process.
restrictions around, like more so than usual because
Oh
of the
yeah,
state of the world.
it was. When we finally got to filming, it was okay. You're in your costumes, everything else on, mask off, find a pocket, quick, do 3 minutes worth of filming, and cut, mask back on.
Straight
Don't
back.
stand anywhere near anyone.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of rules and restrictions to get through, whilst creating choreography with children and then also newborns as well. We put in the film as well.
That's crazy. Do you feel like doing the movie was like a good button to like the end of your journey with Matilda? Like, are you happy that you went
Oh, I'm
back to the
thrilled.
project?
Yeah,
Like,
thrilled I
yeah.
got to be a part of it and felt very lucky that I was asked back. And a lot of people who had been on Matilda or an Ellen Kane show were invited to be a part of it
Hmm.
because she knew how we worked and
Yeah.
we understood her work as well. Yes, end button. Would I ever go back to it? Never say never.
Never say never with Richard, but
No. And the musical itself is so well written and didn't mention
it's one
himself.
of my favorites. Yeah.
Absolute genius.
It's,
And yeah, it was so fun to play and be a
yeah.
child essentially and have
Yeah.
fun.
So, when, where does Beauty then fit into this? Because Beauty is obviously your most recent credits, plural. Did you do the movie and then Beauty was next?
I did the movie and we finished that in the October. So I went home, spent time with family,
Hmm.
work in a bar,
Yeah.
being a dresser as well.
That's right, because Richard has worked as a dresser.
Yes.
You've kind of, yes, we have spoken about this as well. Like, you love kind of exposing yourself to all different aspects of working in theatre.
And I also think it's something if any actor, dancer, singer, performer is out of an acting job, should try and pursue something still within the arts
Mm,
to get a bigger picture of what we do. Because,
it's really important.
yeah, everybody else just sees what's on stage.
I feel like as swings, it's cool because we get to see a little bit more than the ensemble.
Yeah.
Because obviously we spend time backstage with crew and whatever, but actually working as a dresser would be even more eye-opening
I
to
have
all
been
of that.
just as stressed and scared dressing people to make sure that's on time
Yeah,
because I know the pressure it is to do the
to be on
changing.
the other
So,
side. Yeah.
but then it was also a great way of communicating is me going, okay, I know you need to be on stage at this point.
Mhm.
What works best for you? Let's
Yeah.
be a team. Let's figure that out. So then
Yeah.
hopefully to all my other dressers that I've worked with, know I've got the understanding. I know what it's like to be in your position too.
Mhm.
So it becomes more of a team.
Yeah. Which you're very big on
Yes.
in
I'm,
general at work. Anyway, back to Beauty.
yeah.
So it was the tour first, right?
Yes. I wasn't in the original cast,
Uh-huh.
but I was asked to audition for Beauty as a swing and with immediate start. Auditioned on the Monday, offered on the Friday, signed the contract Monday, drove to Wales on the Tuesday, started
Seems to be a bit
rehearsals
of
on
a
the Wednesday.
common occurrence with us swings on Beauty,
Just turning up last
even
minute,
in other
yeah.
countries.
Yeah, and then 10 days rehearsal, and I was on.
Yeah.
And my debut was playing 4 different people.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
straight in, no holds.
How much of that tour did you do?
I did.
How long was that?
So that was from the December up until August, I believe it was, and then we did the summer stint
At
on
the
the West End
Palladium.
at the Palladium. Yes.
How was the Palladium? Because I've never been, but from all of my friends in the UK, they're like, that's where I want to work. That's the theatre that's it.
Yeah. The Palladium is wonderful. And it was also slightly tainted because it was our hottest summer.
Oh,
You're used to it, but 39.5 degrees in London is not
it's not
so
easy.
good. We had multiple air conditioning units had to be like plugged in and
Mhm.
shoved here and there and everywhere just to kind of make it work.
Yeah.
So it was a hot one, but it was fun. And even though it's a big theatre, you can still feel the love and the
Yeah,
affection
yeah.
from the audience.
At what point did you go from swing to ensemble?
After the London stint,
Right.
we then continued on tour
Right.
around Bristol and
So
went
it was
to
like
Ireland.
tour, West End not in the middle, but like West End, and then more tour.
Yes.
And this tour part 2, you went from a swing to then replacing one of the ensemble members.
We had a slight switch around with the cast, and then I went into the ensemble, leaving our swing team down to 3. But
it's possible.
it was just about.
Just about.
So I went on and played the Baker for the next 5.5 months, I think it was.
And then tell everyone, how did you end up here?
Similar thing with a phone call. I had finished the show in the January, gone back to live with my parents, as many people have to. And I was auditioning for shows, and I was just getting ready to go out, and my agent called and said, I've had a very interesting phone call from Disney. And I was like, what have I done? What happened? Just asking if I would like to help out with the Australian tour. They haven't cast a swing understudy Gaston yet, and wanted to know if I'd be interested in helping out for a while. I was like, Australia?
And
yes.
It started as like a while.
I was never told how long it'd be.
Yeah.
And I think I got a similar contract to everybody else with 15 months kind of run of play kind of situation. And obviously it works differently with me and visas and things like that. So I thought, 15 months, here we go. Packed my bags and off we moved to Sydney.
And 2 and a bit years later, you're still here kicking.
An extension on extension.
That's like 4 years of Beauty, essentially. And yes, you've had 100 different castmates. You swung, then you were ensemble, then you're back to swinging. You've covered but how has it been watching this show evolve over the last 4 years? Because even I've only been on Beauty for 6 months, and we've had one visit from the international creatives. And even in that one visit, things were changed and tweaked and all things to make the show better. But I know for a fact from watching archivals of the initial UK tour version that there are big chunks of the show that are completely different in the Australian production. And now this version has been taken to the US with another completely different iteration. How has it been not only watching it evolve, but then also adapting to the evolution?
Yeah, I think my biggest hurdle was when I got to Australia and certain parts of the show had changed. Set pieces, props, choreography, which weren't, out of the world completely different, but it was like a slight change here and there, or a track would be changed here, and it was a bit more confusing. But then once that kept happening, it just kind of, you ride the wave and accept it. And seeing the show evolve, it kind of feels like it's part of me now and it's part of my baby. And how many cast members have we changed? Must be over 30 people I've worked with in the ensemble and the swing team. I'm just so glad people get to experience it like I did. It was my first job after COVID. I got to do a show watch, And I watched Be Our Guest and I cried.
Mm.
I'm like, I'm so happy to be a part of a Disney show and this work of art. And not only am I glad everybody gets to enjoy it, but other people can understand how hard it is. Like, it's all well and good to say it's glitz and glamour, but it's so hard to put on this show 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
And now more and more people across the globe doing this show understand how much hard work we've put into this to keep it working and keep it as fresh as we can and exciting to new audience members.
Yeah. I guess my last question for you. You had such a long life with Matilda in very different ways, and you've had such a long life with Beauty now. How do you keep it fresh, I guess? Like, it's a constant issue, or not issue, it's a constant thing that we're aware of as actors, but, you know, we do 8 shows a week for 4 years. That's difficult in itself. You've not only done it once, but you've done it on 2 different occasions now. Do you have, like, what's your biggest piece of advice for kind of keeping that
I have been
alive?
really lucky to have so many cast members come through the show while
Mhm.
I've stayed. And that is a massive help. That naturally will give me different intentions with different people. And I think as a swing, when we go on, yes, we might be wearing the same costumes, but we know we're on for different characters. And I like to think of it as 7 different ensemble tracks, like understudies.
Yeah.
So each one has a journey. So, if I'm on for the baker that day, I know who I'm going to interact with and it'll be a certain way. But in the next show, I'll be on for the milkman and I know I'm going to act it slightly younger
Mhm.
and I'm going to be more fresh with it. So it's kind of, it's having an understudy. Each track is a
Yeah.
role.
Yeah. I think that's like, I feel the same way 100%. And I feel like as swings, we also get to play the characters differently every time we do them. Like if I am doing the milkman with you as the baker, I get to be different to when Ruben does the baker. And like that's something I feel like that you kind of lose track of in the ensemble because you feel like you have to do the same thing 8 times a week. And maybe because we're swings, we can see it from that different perspective a little bit more. But do you feel like you get to approach every single show from a different perspective, I guess?
I can't sit here and say every single show has been different. We've all gone through the
Mhm.
motions at some point and just made sure you've got from A to B.
100%.
We've got to do our job and we've got to do it well. Sometimes you haven't got the capacity to think of something new.
No.
And I think with the amount of time I've been on these shows gives me the blessing to play around and find something new here and there. It doesn't always have to be something big or something the audience would notice. And you're not changing the choreography or the story. It's just your input.
Bit of
And
life, bit
yeah.
of different, yeah.
And, not every choice has been correct. So you learn that way.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me today on the podcast. If people want to follow you or see more of your journey, where can they find you?
That'll be on just the Instagram of Richard Astbury 91.
91, love it.
Mm.
Well, thank you for joining. You're like my favorite Brit ever, so thank you. Much love. Thank you for watching this episode of Stage Left with Lou. Make sure you are following us on Instagram at Stage Left with Lou for all of the updates, and I will see you in the next one.